But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation.
That's the president last August, but according to newly unsealed court documents from prosecutors in the Southern District of New York, President Trump and former White House Communications Director Hope Hicks were in regular communication with Michael Cohen while a payment to Stormy Daniels in 2016 was arranged. Based on the timing and the content of these calls and messages, quote, at least some of these communications concerned the need to prevent Stormy from going public, particularly in the wake of the Access Hollywood story. Joining me now is MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalos. So, Danny, what's the biggest thing we learned here? What did we not know before?
That there is now even more evidence corroborating Michael Cohen's allegation that the crime he was convicted of, which is campaign finance law violations, was essentially directed by the president. He stood up in court and said as much. And then the government followed suit with a brief saying, yes, we agree with his version. And now we have these documents corroborating, not outright conclusively proving, but certainly corroborating with all of these text messages and phone calls that the president was the head of this alleged crime. I mean, there's nothing else to call it except that that's exactly what Michael Cohen called it. And quietly, in the wake of the 400-plus page Mueller report, this has been at its core the strongest evidence of a crime by the president. Forget Russia collusion, forget obstruction of justice. This is the event that is the greatest threat to the Trump presidency.
So then what happens after Trump leaves office here? Is he going to be faced with an indictment right away? Is there a statute of limitations?
It is possible. The government has several different strategies it can use to avoid the statute of limitations. And we've never really dealt with tolling or pausing the statute of limitations while a sitting president is in office if the government believes, as we know it does, that it can't indict a sitting president. So it is entirely possible, and it has always been possible since Michael Cohen pleaded guilty, that this campaign finance violation law crime could be what Trump faces his greatest threat from. Again, not Russia collusion, not obstruction of justice, but this little teensy-weensy campaign finance law crime, which isn't so teensy-weensy to Michael Cohen. He is serving prison time right now for it.
Exactly. Well, we also know, based on phone records, Hicks was allegedly involved